concrete were a country, it'd be the fourth largest polluter in the world. Let's focus on how we build smarter, on how
Yeah.
we can be a little bit greener and sustainable. And this is top of mind because
You're listening to Titans of the Trades. I'm your host, Ryan Englin, author of Hire Better People Faster and creator of the CoreFit hiring system, a proven process to help growing companies attract and retain only the best. I'm on a mission to revolutionize the perception of the trades and elevate it to new heights. After growing up in a blue-collar family, my passion for making the trades cool again runs deep. If you're a titan in the industry and want to be on my show, stick around until the end and I'll reveal how you can be my next guest. Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Ryan Englin, and this is Titans of the Trades. Today's guest has been in the industry, in the construction industry, for his whole life. Even gave a little shot at politics, but not only has he grown up in the family business, which is one of the largest in Florida. In fact, I think it might be the largest. He's going to tell you in a minute. He's been in the construction industry for a long time, but he has developed software to solve not only what I think is one of the greatest people problems in the industry, but he's developed software to help you with your estimating and your takeoffs. And I cannot wait for you to hear about Togal and what Patrick is up to. So let me just jump into it. I want to welcome to today's show, Patrick Aaron Murphy, the CEO and founder of Togal.AI. Patrick, welcome to the show.
yeah, thanks for having me.
And this is so cool. We got to chat a little bit before I hit record, and man, you have done so much. There are so many things you have going on. I love that you've actually dialed in to really help solve a major problem in the industry. But before we get to that, tell our listeners who you are.
Yeah, well, thanks again for having me. Patrick Murphy, raised in a family construction business. My grandfather was a painter. My dad was a union carpenter, started his own business, basically dropped out of college and started a construction company. So my brothers and myself all worked in construction, worked from the bottom up, worked in all aspects of the trades and all. And I ended up graduating college, degree in finance and accounting. So I got my CPA license, worked at Deloitte for a bit. And then in 2010, BP oil spill happened. There was talk of this oil coming through the Florida Keys, which is where I was from. So started an environmental cleanup company, moved to basically New Orleans for a few years, saw what was happening there. And that opened my eyes to government. I said, holy cow, like we got to be able to do better than this, right? This was 2010. 2011, I got very frustrated. So I ran for Congress, had an awesome team, got elected, spent a couple terms up in DC. At the time, I was the youngest member. Great experience. We can talk about it or avoid it. Either way is fine. And then after that, rejoined the family construction business. And I was lucky enough to have a fresh set of eyes and realized not much had changed in the 10 years or whatever that I'd been gone. I said, holy cow, we got to be able to do, things better, more efficiently. The business had grown, but it's the same processes. So anyway, I had a couple ideas to use AI to start automating some processes and launched an AI company called Togal.AI. We automate takeoffs. So that's been most of my life, the past 5-6 years in the AI world, and simultaneously working on a company called Rinco and a couple other fun ventures that are hopefully going to change construction as we know it.
I love that your mindset or approach to the industry is it's time to evolve. It's time to change a little bit. I grew up in the trades. I watch it. Nothing has changed in my dad's business in 40 plus years.
Right.
Like it's all the same. They still handwrite checks. Like they don't even do direct deposit yet. It's crazy how these businesses just, they find their thing and they just stay there.
Yeah.
And they don't continue to evolve. And I love that you took a shot at politics and said, hey, maybe there's a way to help the industry or help people. And you still just came back to the trades. I love that. What was the moment for you when you said, hey, you know what? This politics thing isn't going to work out. I'm sure people are thinking about it. Like you did it. You decided you weren't going to be a lifer. You wanted to come back to the family business. What was that moment where you said, you know what? There's more I can do in the industry than I can just in legislation.
It happened pretty early on, actually. You get elected. Yeah. It's kind of like starting college. Everyone's friendly. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, Republican, Democrat, like you're excited, right? You're a member of Congress, you're in DC, and you're learning the ropes, you're learning how to vote and security, whatever, all that stuff. And everyone's getting along. And we started a bipartisan group called United Solutions, Republicans and Democrats, and we are going to reduce the debt, right? We laid out this whole plan of how we're going to do it. We got like 50% of the freshman class to agree on some bullet points. Like, hey, this isn't that hard. Come on, look at us. We're making progress, right? we start getting, some legislation written. Our teams are helping, and we had this plan, blah, blah, blah. And we had a bill. We're going to bring it to the floor, like in our first 6 weeks or something. And my colleague that was working on the other side of the aisle came to me one night. We're out having drinks or whatever. And he's like, hey, that bill we're going to do, I can't do it anymore with you. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm sorry, but we're trying to beat you. I'm like, we just got elected like, a day ago. What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, well, you're in a tough seat. We're trying to defeat you. So the Speaker of the House said, I'm not allowed to work with you on any bill. So maybe in like, 3, 4 years we can do this. I'm like, what are you talking? Like, who cares? Like, what do you? And that was the first eye opener, right? And that's not meant to be partisan. Both sides do that
Yeah.
to the other.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute, we're working 80 hours, 100 hours a week, and you're not going to do something because like of an impending election in 2 years. And it just kept getting worse and worse. And I started learning how everyone was just spending their time focused on getting reelected, not solving real problems. So I busted my butt to try to help and work through that, but it's a big institution. I made the decision I was going to run for higher office, up or out. Like either I'm going to a higher office or I'm done. And that's what happened. I was
Okay.
done. Yeah.
Got it.
Yep.
Got it. Okay. No, I mean, there's probably a lot that we could go into in that, but I really want to focus on the trades. I want to focus on Togal. This is a software. When I see it, I see that it's helping with takeoffs. It's helping the estimating team. It's helping the pre-con department with some of their biggest challenges. Is that accurate?
100%. And just real quick color on it. When I left politics, rejoined the family business, I went through our financials and saw the biggest piece of overhead in our business was estimating, right? Pre-construction. So I started pulling back the onion, like what's really driving these costs? It was takeoffs. And I said, wait a minute, takeoffs still? Like I used to use, a ruler like this, right? And I'd sit there with my grandfather and we had a little roller too, and we do takeoffs, little yellow pad. We, take our quantities down. And the only breakthrough was now a mouse. People are sitting there with a mouse, right? And blah, 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 doing the four corners of every room that counts. And we've got 30, 40 estimators coloring and counting for a living. I'm like, this is crazy. These are super smart people. They would rather be focused on value engineering, scoping, bid leveling, all the things that help really win a job. But instead, they're forced to do these takeoffs and revision after doing the same thing and comparisons. And as we all know, something falls through the crack, it's on you, right? Like you have a major scope bust. So
Oh,
that's when
yeah.
the light bulb went off. Wait a minute. If a human can look at a set of plans and distinguish between the bedroom and the bathroom, the hallway, the different materials and all that, so can a computer. You just have to train it. Did some research, found out no one was doing this. So filed some patents and started a team. Basically spent 3 years training a proprietary AI engine, starting off with getting tens of thousands of plans. We had to hire 25 architects and engineers to label those plans, right? Because everyone who says data is gold, that is very true. In constructions, we all know every set of plans is basically unique and different, right? Different land, different subs, different materials, engineers, code, whatever. So you've got to find a way to organize all that and label it in a uniform manner. And then the AI starts to learn the way you teach like your 6-year-old how to read plans. Same idea. And you correct it and you correct it, gets smarter and smarter. And so we got it up to 97% accuracy before we went to market. And
Wow.
and that was the whole key was right, compressing days or weeks of work doing takeoffs. Like you said, a very niche problem in the industry, doing it now in seconds with greater accuracy.
So all of a sudden, see, like the lens with which I see the industry is we have a labor crisis.
Mhm.
Like it is difficult to find skilled, seasoned, experienced people because they're just retiring.
Yes.
And there's not a lot of excitement around training the next generation. Like people just are like, hey, I really need that 5-year experienced estimator. I don't have time to train an estimator. And they get stuck. And they usually end up hiring a junior guy that maybe they got to spend a lot of time with. And I look at something like Togal and I say, well, it's not going to replace the estimator. It is going to give them efficiencies and the check of their work, the detailed piece. It can help and support them. So maybe you don't need the guy with 15 years experience. You
Right.
can take someone a little bit junior, give them a tool like Togal and say, hey, we can go estimate these jobs more efficiently, more effectively, and with just higher certainty of quality in it. Is that right?
100%. I mean, when ATMs came out, people thought bank tellers were dead. There's way more bank tellers today than there were 30, 40 years ago, right? Banks exploded, little branches started popping up all over the place. right?
Yeah.
Abundance happened. Same thing with like autopilot. People said, oh, pilots are gone. You don't need as many pilots. You only have one pilot. No, there's more pilots than ever, right? Aviation is getting easier and safer for everybody. Same thing's going to happen with construction, right? It's democratizing it, right? It's enabling the humans to focus on the higher value tasks. And with estimating, this is a real issue. It's tougher than ever to hire a good estimator, right? And what I think is so cool about technology is it's helping the smaller companies keep up and grow to the bigger companies, right? And we've got plenty of use cases, but we had a company, a small painting company in North Carolina came to us, said, look, we're trying to grow our business 40% this year. We think we can handle that. Okay. But they didn't have the budget to go hire an estimator, right? Because obviously, if you want to grow, you need more revenues. How do you need more revenues? You need more bids. How do you get more bids? Well, typically, you hire an estimator. It's $80,000, $100,000 a year. So they said, look, we want to try technology to help us grow. Okay. After 2 months, they had 10x the amount of bids they were able to put out the door with one license for $3,000 a year, right? Because now
Wow.
all of a sudden they're ripping through their takeoffs. All their painting takeoffs were like spot on, out the door with a click of a button. And now they're bidding all this work. So estimating was no longer the choke point for them to grow. Now they had to go hire painters to go do the actual work because they were winning so much, right? And that's the power of technology if you embrace it and you use it.
Yeah. You also gave me another example. You have a chat feature inside of the software,
Yes.
almost a mentor or someone that you can just bounce things off of. And you gave an example about another painter who completely missed something in scope and saved them an insane amount of money because it catch it. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so it's called Togal.AI. Look, we all know there's a lot of text on plans, and there's emails, there's RFIs, there's spec books, right? There's all sorts of content that's out there. So what we did is we've enabled users to upload all that information if they choose, or just their plans, whatever they want to do. But the more information, the more powerful it is into our system, and just have a conversation with it. Hey, what should I be worried about? I'm a painter. Can you help me write a scope for this? Did anything change in the last set of plans from this set of plans? What kind of paint is being used? I'm simplifying it. But we had a painter was prompting and having a conversation, and Total Chat identified that it called for some paint on the ceiling of a garage, which hadn't been expected. They missed a small little note on the plans, and it was like a $250,000 line item, and they were about to submit a bid without that, and it caught it. So they were like, look, we're into Togo for life because of that.
I paid
So
for subscription for life.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're good. But what we're trying to do is actually come up with the prompts that people should use to get them started. What we found is our users, once they've done it for like a day or two and they get used to it, they have like that new muscle memory. It's really easy, but it's those first like 2 or 3 steps. So we're trying to come up with prompts per trade, per industry, and help people get started. But it's so powerful what it can do because there is, as we know, so much written, and a lot of people don't read the text, right? They don't read the instruction manual. Like see the plans. Oh, I know how to build this. They just jump right in. Uh,
Hmm.
we help organize that per trade so they know what's important.
Yeah. So tell me some of the industries that people are listening right now. I saw mechanical, electrical, plumbing. I saw glazing. We've talked about painting. What are some of the other industries? I know you do residential, commercial. You don't get into any of the heavy civil stuff or any of that just yet.
Mhm.
I'm not going to
No.
say you won't ever, but mostly the general construction in residential and the trades. But give me some specific examples of industries that are just nailing it with Togal.
Flooring, drywall, paint, MEPs, as you mentioned, general contractors. Probably about 60% of our clients are GCs,
Okay.
CMs. The remaining 40% is subs. In a year, I bet that'll change, just math, right? There's just more of the trades. So we're starting to do better and better and go deeper and deeper into the takeoff. I'll give you a quick example, Ryan. So right now on a set of plans, right, you upload your PDF. Hell, you could upload a picture on a napkin. If you give us a scale, we'll tell you the quantities, okay? It doesn't matter the drawing format, but we'll tell you just in this example, the drywall behind my head, okay? Now, what we're doing is we're going to automate the assembly of that drywall with a click of a button. Whether it's on the legend or previous plans, now that we've got millions and millions of plans to learn from, the AI is learning the best, most optimal assembly there, or reading it from the actual legend of what kind of studs, what's their spacing, the screws, the tape, the type of board, etc., and automating that. We're doing that for every trade. So imagine from that schematic set of plans you upload, be able to click a button and get not only the takeoffs, but now the assemblies and really the materials, right down to the screw and a lot of it trade. So that's the direction we're going. So we cover basically all the trades now. Civil, we have to do better with. We're starting to work on some stuff there, but not optimized for it. Anything vertical, we're good. And now we're continuing to go deeper and deeper into those trades.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. We do some work with remodeling contractors. Would this be good for them?
Yes, remodeling is great. Look, anything with a set of plans. Honestly, we've got developers using it, owners, reps, some governments using it.
That's
But
awesome.
if you're working with plans and you need to take off, this is helpful. There was a real estate company and they're trying to figure out like furniture counts, and turns out we count furniture really well. So like,
It turns out it's smart
yeah,
enough to do that. I love it.
no, yeah.
So we had talked a little bit about AI, and it is a tool. Like AI is a tool that we can use as part of our business. Togal is a tool that we can use. You still have to have people that work with it. And I've learned too, also with AI, that you've always got to double check it. Like there's got to be someone that's smart enough to know whether or not you're getting what you need from it. But I want you to do for me a favor. In the next 5 years, where do you see this going? Like, what is AI going to look like? Like, you probably know more about this stuff than most people listening, present company included. 5, 10 years, what's going to happen?
Look, it's a guess for everybody, right? Anyone says they know
Sure,
what's
sure,
happening,
sure.
they don't know what the hell they're talking about. But it's moving very fast, right? All of the tests, the Turing tests, and all the tests that people thought were impossible for decades are being passed right now, right? You've, I'm sure, seen, and your listeners have seen, it's passing all the major exams, whether that's the bar, and the medical, right? The MCATs, the CFA, the financial tests in seconds now. Construction is a little slow to the party as we normally are, but it's going to catch up fast. Construction is, I think, unique in a lot of reasons and a lot more nuanced than most people give it credit for, right? Because everything that's built is basically one of a kind, right? Unless it's like a track home or something, but everything is
Yeah.
different. The architect, the engineer, the materials, right? All of it. And so there wasn't technology that was affordable before to really process all that information and make sense of it. All of a sudden that's changed with AI. So in 5 years from now, I believe if you want to build a new house, a new basic apartment or basic condo, hotel, it's going to be a prompt. You're going to come on a software, maybe it'll be ours. And you're going to say, my address is, 101 Main Street. Here's my budget, right? This is what I want built. I want my dream 4-bedroom house and I don't know, 4.5 bath and a 2-car garage. And this is the style. I want it to be a Mediterranean style. You're going to get basically an infinite amount of plans there, but not just plans and a pretty rendering, right, Ryan? You're going to get the mechanical, the electrical, the plumbing, the structural plan. You're going to get everything, all the plans detailed out. And if you don't like it, you're going to say, hey, you know what? My spouse wants a bigger closet. Can you re-render this and make the closet 25% bigger? It's going to re-render it. And you're going to get all the MEPs again. Because if you think about it, if you've got that 4-bedroom house, and you know where the bathrooms are and the laundry room and the kitchen and all, there's not an infinite amount of ways to run the piping, for example. The plumbing is, you kind of know where it's going to be, right? You know, the slopes, the drain, the vents, like it's been done before. And there's some rules to do this, some standard operating procedures. So imagine our AI or whomever's AI has hundreds of thousands or millions of plans of 4-bedroom houses now. It's read in our database. Do you think that's going to be better than an engineer? Of course, like the human can't compete with that much data and that much knowledge. And the AI can learn and interpret the code and give you that plumbing layout with the click of a button, right? So think of the power of that. Now you combine all the other trades, electric, structure, it will deconflict and give you those plans with a click of a button. Then naturally, it's going to start doing your pricing, right? Because it's going to break down everything to those materials and items, connect that to local vendors. It'll help with scheduling. It'll help with deliveries, right? All of these problems that the procurement that take us all time and back and forth, AI is going to dramatically improve. But what I believe that does is not only democratize it, but help us reduce costs so more people can get in housing, right? We have an affordable housing crisis in our country. Let's help that out, right? Let's
Yeah.
help reduce the costs. The cost of land is the cost of land. Hard to change that. Materials are materials, but we can do better and be more efficient with the way we build. And I believe AI is going to really help with that.
Wow. Wow, that's so cool. I mean, you're even saying like in the first couple of days, helping people get the prompts down just to use Togal is a little bit of a challenge. I mean, I imagine that as AI advances and gets smarter, it's going to be able to predict a little bit better at what it is. And all of a sudden, learning is going to be not a big deal. right? Like they're going to show up and it's going to walk them through it, and it's just going to get easier. When you talk about what you were sharing about the plans and everything else, I mean, what I hear is we've probably got some architects that are a little nervous right now when they hear that. Is that fair?
Look, I think all white collar jobs should be very nervous, right? I mean, the price of knowledge is going to zero. Right? That's what's happening, right?
Yeah.
It's at our fingertips. We're going to have in our phones the best scientists, the best engineers and mathematicians and physicists like ever in the world are going to be at our fingertips. So whatever you want to know, whether you're a student or whether you're an architect, you can ask it a question, right? And learn and get it right there. So I'm adamant. I really believe that those white collar jobs are going to be affected by AI more than the blue collar, right? And
Absolutely.
a lot of people said, "Oh, get your whatever degree and do." And I'm not saying don't do that, but more than ever, the mechanic, the electrician, the plumber, right? Those working with their hands, I think, are going to do really, really well and make a lot of money. And I wouldn't be surprised in 5 years from now if the plumber's making more than the accountant.
You know what? I shared this on LinkedIn about 2 years ago. I was like, at some point, we need to value the plumber more than we value. And I was even saying a lawyer at that time,
Yeah,
right? Like, I mean,
100%.
the plumber gets me out of trouble. The lawyer keeps me out of trouble. But for some reason, keeping me out of trouble is more valued than making sure that my family can live safely and comfortably and all that other stuff. And
Right.
so I see what you're doing with Togo can actually help some of the labor crisis that we're dealing with right now. I don't think it's going to solve it just yet,
Mhm.
but I do think that now all of a sudden I don't need to find that 15-year veteran unicorn that knows how to do everything exactly my way without me teaching them. We can take in a junior person. We can take in someone who's excited about the estimating process and say, here's a tool for you to use that can not only help you become more efficient, but I actually could see it being as a training tool as well. When it finds things that they didn't see, they're like, well, I'll look for that next time.
Right. You hit on something interesting, right? So we're teaching Togal, or Togal's being taught, I should say, at a couple dozen universities around the country.
Hmm.
And what is so interesting is the students have been learning takeoffs and estimating on traditional tools. I don't need to name them, but they're all on premise, on hardware. They don't work on Apple. So the kids oftentimes go to the library to use this software. That doesn't work for students nowadays. It's got to be web based. It's got to work on any device. They got to be able to do it from wherever they want, basically, to work. And so what's happening is all of a sudden web-based tools like ours, the students want to learn. And then you tell them it's AI, and that being an estimator doesn't mean you're going to count toilets for the first 2 years of a job. You're going to get into the weeds and use your engineering and know how to value engineer and find a way to save 10 or 20% on the layout, engineering of that job, because that's what you were hired to do. So now all of a sudden, as a junior estimator, you can bring more value, which means you're going to get paid more, right? We pay employees based on their productivity. If they're more
Yeah.
productive, they get more money. Like that's, economics 101. So the more productive, which usually often means using more technology, an employee is, better they're going to do. So I believe students, number one, we're seeing that they want to be estimators now. Like all of a sudden it's a more fun job. Like they're using AI, they're doing better things. They can see the value they're adding. And I think they also see their career path like, wow, I can make a lot of money doing this. And I'm not doing this grunt work for the first 5 years, which is so annoying. And I think I'll keep certain people, out of all, aspects of construction, and estimating is no different. But I was reading something the other day for the trades. There's like, they're saying, I think by like 2030, 600,000, they believe, job openings for electricians, and 450,000 they're expecting plumbers. So
Mm.
supply demand, like back to, economics, when you have that big of a shortage, the premium for those jobs is going to be, pretty big. So that hourly rate's going up.
Yeah, what I see us struggling with in the work that we do is the market has not accepted the increased pricing that they have to pay in
Mhm.
order for the industry to be able to attract that higher level plumber, for example, right? Like people still have in their mind that a drain clog should be $99 or
Right.
$39 or whatever that commercial is today. Well, you can't pay that plumber the extra money yet. So we definitely have to wrap our arms around the industry as consumers and say, hey, we value that more so that they can pass that on to in pay. But I do think we're going to get there
Yes.
because the infrastructure in this country it's eroding fast
Yes.
and it's old and it needs a lot of work. And yeah, 450,000 plumbers, 500,000 electricians. Like, here's the thing that people don't understand. Who's building those data centers to help AI with all the compute power? It's electricians.
Yep.
If we don't have more electricians, we're in trouble. Like the internet exists because we have electricians. If we didn't have electricians, there would be no data flowing. Like we'd be in a lot of trouble.
100%.
And so, yeah, 500,000 electricians. I mean, I think that over the next 10 years, we're going to find out it's probably even worse than we estimate because we're not doing a good job of attracting that next generation.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I love about what Togal's doing is the next generation grew up with a gamepad in their hands, with a screen in their hands. They grew up with instant access to information. And when you walk in as a 25-year-old kid into the construction industry and you look around and there's a fax machine and they're still using dial-up internet because they don't need it that much, all of a sudden it's, or a crane that's 40 years old because we just keep fixing it. It's going to be really hard to attract that next generation. But when we go to them and we say, we've got tools like Togal that you can actually use the things that you enjoy doing, the value engineering and all the other things you talk about, now all of a sudden attracting and keeping those people is going to be so much more easier. So I love what you guys are doing over there and being able to really transform a part of the industry that's been stuck in its old ways for way too long. And I think the next generation needs to know that this stuff exists.
Yes.
So thank you for what you guys are doing over there. And I know you were just guessing on what the next 5 years is going to look like. I'm going to guess that what you predicted will probably happen in 2 as fast as it's going.
Right.
It's crazy. Like I wake up today and there's something different about ChatGPT than there was last night when I went to bed.
Yeah.
Like it just is changing so fast.
If I can jump in real quick on that, what sort of inspired that thought for me was watching the videos that they're making that Sora and Gemini, some of these models are doing, where you can prompt a video or take, I don't know, say like a Simpsons episode, and all of a sudden you can say, hey, now make a Simpsons episode for my kids. And I wanted to teach them about religion or, don't lie or something, right? Like pick a topic and they'll take the characters, learn from all the previous Simpsons, modify it and do it with like extreme accuracy. So like think of the technology that goes into that. And you're telling me we can't do that for plans and construction? Like, of course, if we can train on the historical data set, we can do so much with construction. What I think this does is enable the humans now to focus on the architecture, on the creative aspects of the sustainability, the livability, walkability, how do we make our cities better where people really want to be in our urban communities, rural communities, and do more, right? Like not to get like too deep into all this, but the built environment's 40% of all global emissions, right? Like concrete itself is 8% of all emissions. Right? If concrete were a country, it'd be the 4th largest polluter in the world. So let's focus on how we build smarter, on how we can be a little bit greener and sustainable. And this is top of mind because we're having king tides in Miami where I live right now. And there's like dozens of restaurants that flooded last night that are on the river. Like they're underwater. It's, who knows what the repairs are going to be for that, but people are sitting dining in 3 inches of water. Like that's not normal.
Yeah.
Right? No, let's build smarter. Like let's use our intellect to start solving these problems and be prepared for what's coming.
Well, and that's something that we're seeing too, because, even as many processes as we design or job descriptions we write or interview guides that we write, what's really happening is AI is not solving the needs of the human condition.
Right.
And so now all of a sudden we're having to be more empathetic. We're having to be able to listen better. We're having to be able to connect because AI can't connect yet. Like it's not there. And so we're starting to see more employee experience teams turn to that. Like, how do we better connect with our people to solve turnover problems, to keep people safe, to keep them engaged? Because all the processes, all the copy, all the content creation that you can create in the world isn't going to help that.
Right.
So we're starting to focus more on that human element, which is fantastic. Patrick, this has been awesome. How do people get a hold of you? How do they learn more? I think you've got an offer for our listeners too, if they want to check out Togal. Tell us about that.
Promotion Titans is the password. Type that in for a 20% discount to Togal. We've got sales reps standing by. Love to do a quick demo. We can do it in 15, 20 minutes, walk you through the software. We love when people send us their plans so they don't think we're like gaming the system or some like, magic person behind the curtain or something. So send us your plans. We'll do the demo right on that, show you the value instantly for whether that's Togal Chat, where you're having a conversation with your plans, getting your takeoffs, getting your quantities, and collaborating, right? This is one of the coolest things too, Ryan. I should have mentioned earlier with the younger generation. If anyone's used Google Sheets or web-based tools where it's all collaborative. So what's happening now is our customers aren't emailing plans back and forth amongst their team. It's web-based. So they just get a login or a link, boom, they're live. Now, Ryan, you and I could be looking at the same set of plans, looking at it. You could type a note, hey, question here about this. You don't have to go, hey, turn to sheet A2.24 and upper right corner, find this. No, it's right there. I can see your message you wrote. So you're not emailing, downloading these plans back and forth. It's all live, collaborative. You can share it with your trade partners, vendors, etc. So that makes life a lot easier, taking away this mundane work. So with that being said, email me, PEM@Togal.AI. That's my initials, Patrick Aaron Murphy, PEM@Togal.AI. Love to set up a demo for you. And again, Titans is the password for a 20% discount.
Awesome. Patrick, thank you so much. I love what you're doing for the industry. I love that you were raised in this industry, so you get it, you understand the challenges, and you're developing tools to just take us into the future. So thank you. Keep doing what you're doing, and I can't wait to see where it goes in the next couple of years.
Awesome. Hope to stay in touch. Thanks, Ryan.
Ryan Englin here. Thank you so much for listening to Titans of the Trades. If you're a titan in the construction, manufacturing, or skilled trades industry and would like to be a guest on my show, please visit podcast.corematters.com. If you found value in this interview, would you share this episode on social media? Just do a quick screenshot on your phone and share it with a friend or post it on social. And if you know someone that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag Titans of the Trades. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, click the subscribe button. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show and get me one step closer to solving the labor crisis facing the industry. Want to know more about how we're doing that? Go to our website or follow me on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening.